One issue and two outcomes. Elected leaders in two Green Bay area communities last night took distinctively different positions on where convicted sex offenders can live. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Major restrictions are now official in Allouez. But just to the south in De Pere, leaders turned down a proposed rule on the same issue. Here is the straight story. In Allouez, convicted sex offenders will be, as of Saturday, prevented from living within 2,000 feet of schools, parks, and other places where children gather. That covers about 96% of the village. The proposal passed 6-1. In De Pere, however, an alderman proposed the creation of a safe zone around one school, but the city council rejected that idea 7-1. While leaders in both communities have different views on the issue, they do agree the state should be the one setting a common standard. Fox 11's Andrew Lacombe explains.
In De Pere, the issue of sex offender residency focused on Sybil Hop School, a school for children and young adults with developmental disabilities.
A sex offender recently had been placed in a home nearby the school.
Larry Allouez says the State Department of Corrections assigned this man to live 30 feet away from the school. In 1991, Thomas Bouchonville was convicted of sexually assaulting a child. School parents and staff protested his residency and wanted to stop other offenders from living there, but the De Pere Council said no.
We've heard from law enforcement that residency ordinances don't work, that it just drives sex offenders underground. So that was one reason. The other reason was that I don't believe we should single out one school for protection. I believe we've got enough schools in the city that we want to protect all the children.
A sweeping ordinance was passed Tuesday night in the village just north of De Pere's city limits. Concerns were raised in Allouez after residents noticed a surge in sex offenders. Allouez village leaders attribute that increase to an equally restrictive sex offender ordinance in Green Bay. They say the number of convicted sex offenders living in the village has increased 140% over the last 6 years, from 12 to 29.
We also had a couple of pretty high-profile cases in which an offender was actually rejected by Green Bay. One on an appeal, and then took up residence in Allouez, and it really didn't sit well with the board.
Leaders in both Allouez and De Pere say the issue really needs to go to the state level.
You know, the issue hits close to home because
Republican State Representative Andre Jacques lives near Sybil Hop School. He's also a member of the State Assembly's Criminal Justice Committee.
there have been legislative council study committees in past sessions, but nothing that really has addressed the issue thoroughly enough that we aren't still grappling with these issues at the local level year after year.
Jacques expects the issue will come up again in the next legislative session that starts in January. In De Pere, Andrew Lacombe, Fox 11 News.
Allouez's new ordinance, however, will not force current convicted offenders to move. And De Pere Alderman Allouez says the city will keep an eye on how many more convicted offenders move into De Pere because of the more restrictive ordinances in Allouez and Green Bay.